Fans today are told to name a flamboyant, charismatic, effervescent wrestler with great technical skills and who calls themselves the Nature Boy. You would think of the modern great Ric Flair. He, however, was not the original Nature Boy. That distinction goes to the great Buddy Rogers. For some, it's easy to gain acceptance as a beloved figure, but for others, it is a goal to be despised by everyone watching. Such was the goal of Rogers, and he achieved it every night. As an arrogant, flamboyantly dressed villain, Rogers competed both in tag teams and in singles action. His biggest opportunity would come in our main event. Rogers faces Pat O'Connor in front of a record crowd of nearly 50,000 at Comiskey Park in Chicago.
And they have refused to commit themselves or make a prediction. They say it's even. The men are as evenly matched as two wrestlers could possibly be, and that it could go either way. So who are we to make a prediction? That's Buddy Rogers with his back to you, 240 pounds. Pat O'Connor with the dark trunks, 231 pounds. Pat O'Connor rebounding with that hard forearm blow, following one from Rogers, which seemed to irritate him. Constant conditioning and exercise. O'Connor bouncing off the ropes and running into a hard forearm blow from Buddy Rogers. Listen to that crowd as Rogers sprawls full length on the mat after that vicious blow from O'Connor. And both boys wind up in the ropes. It looked like O'Connor was setting Rogers up for a pile driver, but they lost their balance, tumbled into the ropes. And referee Stan Sarbanek called for the break. Boy, O'Connor putting every ounce of strength and all his energy behind those vicious blows. And believe you me, if Rogers wasn't in superb physical condition, he would be out. And it looks like he's out on his feet. He manages to bring his knee up. Watch it now. 1, 2, 3. The count by Sarbanek. And the pin by Rogers. A stunning turnabout here at Comiskey Park, with O'Connor definitely enjoying the upper hand, but Rogers pulling his strategy out of nowhere. A stunning blow as he brought that knee up. O'Connor's ran into it, and Rogers managed to get the pin in this first fall over O'Connor, who is stunned and led back to his corner. Well, ladies and gentlemen, on this sound off, we're going to try desperately in a couple of minutes to talk to three men who are world famous as tag team champions, the Kangaroos, and their very loquacious manager, Red Berry. I hesitate to start with Red because once he takes over, our 2 minutes are gone, but I'm going to because I want to get his opinion without the superlatives and the adjectives, which this crowd does deserve. Red, what do you think of this fabulous 50,000 plus crowd here at Comiskey Park?
I think it's the most exciting and rewarding crowd that I've ever seen in my wrestling career. And I tell you, this wrestling match that they're seeing out there tonight, along with the one they just witnessed with the fabulous Kangaroos and myself, was exciting, it's nerve-wracking, muscle-torching, brain-numbing, and courage-testing.
And I'd like to get an opinion from you and your two boys here, the Kangaroos, as to how you think this one is going to turn out. We've seen Buddy Rogers take a one-fall lead on O'Connor. What do you think?
Well, I'm going to give you my unbiased opinion. The man wins who knows he is fit before he starts. I know that Rogers is fit, and you usually stick with the champion, but I'm going to pick Rogers.
You're going to pick Rogers. Let's get a little opinion from the Kangaroos here. We've got Al Costello. What do you think?
Well, I'm undivided a bit because they're both superb conditioned athletes.
It's
very hard to pick.
They sure are. We've been getting nothing but toss-up opinions from the other wrestlers we've talked to.
I have to go with O'Connor being a New Zealander.
Well, I guess you probably would have to. And Roy Heffernan, what do you think?
Like Al says, Pat being from down under, our neighbor more or less, I've got to go along with Pat.
Well, you know, this is a surprising twist here because Rogers uses the same technique that you do. I thought you'd stick up for him. Kangaroos, Redberry, thank you very much. Our time is up. This second fall is underway. Remember that Buddy Rogers is one up on Pat O'Connor, who now has the difficult task, and some may feel the almost impossible task, of winning 2 straight falls from Buddy Rogers to retain his world's heavyweight crown. Rogers one up in a very surprising. Rogers broke loose. Broke free, but only for a second. And O'Connor bangs away across Rogers' face. He's stunned, down on his knees in his corner. But O'Connor had better be very careful because Rogers is cagey. And he takes another blow across the face. And again. Rogers having difficulty navigating. O'Connor steaming back to get the pin on Buddy Rogers, winning the second fall. It's all even, and we'll have the third and deciding fall in just a moment. Let's get the official time from our ring announcer, Leonard Sterling. Our sound-off guest here at Comiskey Park, where better than 50,000 people have gathered to watch this World's Heavyweight Championship match between O'Connors and Rogers, is the mighty Atlas. Atlas, what do you think of this crowd?
Well, this is making history tonight in wrestling. The people over here are all part of the history, and it took an awful lot of work in 6 months, I believe, of foundation work to get this match set up so that the 2 men would meet. Because the champion has a lot to lose, and so does Rogers, who is the United States heavyweight champion.
Right you are. It's a very exciting match. And how do you think it's one up as we're watching this right now? Do you have an opinion as to how it's going to end up?
It's very difficult at this point to say. I know both men. I have wrestled both men. And I would say that they're in tip-top condition, and it's a toss-up as to who might win this match. In as much as the crowd seems to be for the champion, who I think may be the underdog at this time.
It looks that way right at this moment. You say you have wrestled both these men?
Yes, and they have a distinctly different style, Rogers being very cagey, and of course the champion has one advantage. You have to run to the top of the hill and knock him off. You
sure?
See, he's wrestling a defensive match,
yes,
which is a smart thing to do for a champion, because if he leaves himself wide open, that's liable to be the one mistake. And you know, championship caliber matches don't allow for even one mistake.
No, they don't. How did you do in just a few seconds we have left? How did you do against O'Connor and against Rogers, Atlas?
Well, I've had, I might say I've had a win over Rogers some years back, and I haven't had the opportunity to meet him at this time. And O'Connor was just coming up at the time that I wrestled him.
I see. Our time is up. Thank you very much, Atlas. And the bell signals the start of the third and deciding fall. A very confident Buddy Rogers strutting around the ring, drawing the boos of this tremendous crowd at Comiskey Park. Rogers winning the first fall. Gotta use your head, says Rogers. And look at that strut. I would hazard a guess that we will undoubtedly see a heavy concentration on defense in this third fall. Pat O'Connor having a great deal to lose. Rogers equally much to win. Rogers cannot lose his United States Heavyweight Championship, but he would gladly give that up for the world title held by O'Connor. Both boys colliding in the ring, on their backs. They misjudged their pace in bouncing off the ropes. They met head-on in a collision in center ring. It seems as if O'Connor has recovered first. They're tangled in the ropes, dangerously close to the edge of the apron of the ring. Stan Sarbanek, our referee, manages to keep both boys from tumbling out. O'Connor first back into the ring. It looked as if both men were in danger for a moment. Watch this hard slam now as O'Connor's bounces Rogers, who apparently is pleading for mercy, but you've got to watch him close. Watch for another slam. There it is. And you can see the cushions as Rogers rebounds. Oh, boy, it looked as if O'Connor had the pin, but Rogers managed to get one leg up over on the ropes. And on Stan Sarbernek's signal, O'Connor was forced to break. Rogers was inches away and seconds away from losing this match. And the roar of the crowd rising to a steady crescendo. Never a let up as they watch two great champions pummel each other unmercifully. Watch it now. O'Connor trying for the pin with the body press. And again, Rogers brings that foot up over the ropes. O'Connor has been so close 2 times within a matter of minutes to finishing off Rogers and retaining his world's heavyweight championship. And listen to that crowd. Rogers on his back near the corner. O'Connor prancing in the center of the ring, eager for his chance to drive in and try to finish Rogers off. Look at him work over Buddy Rogers as he slams his head into the turnbuckle. Rogers is very groggy. He's almost out on his feet. Slammed into the turnbuckle again. Pat O'Connor, the champion, showing no mercy. He wants to finish it off. This match all even at a fall apiece. Rugged, brutal punishment being taken by Rogers, who seems to be on the verge of collapse beneath the ropes.
No, we're going to let it try. Say, Fred, you're supposed to make the plug.
Rogers trying desperately to come back. Attempt a couple of blows.
I can get up there to represent the belt.
But he's on his back again. Watch it now. 2 and again.
If Kohler makes his
This is the third time in a matter of minutes that O'Connor apparently had the mat sewed up, but they were too near the ropes. And Rogers shook the cobwebs away just enough to get that leg up over the ropes and prevent the count to reach 3 by referee Stan Sarberneck. Oh, a flying drop kick missed by O'Connor as Rogers managed to elude that kick. O'Connor's in trouble. Both boys almost out on their feet. O'Connor grasping his midriff in great pain. Rogers trying to crawl across to O'Connor and get that pin. O'Connor tumbling across the mat. Both boys approaching the ropes. Watch it now. We had the count. We had the count of 3 for Buddy Rogers, who gets the pin and wins the deciding fall in this World's Heavyweight Championship match. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a new champion in Buddy Nature Boy Rogers.
I want to congratulate you and wish you a lot of luck as a new World Heavyweight Champion as recognized by the National Wrestling Alliance. Wear it in good health.
Thank you very much, Fred. I'll say something.
Fred. Men gave everything they had to pro wrestling and were respected even after the spotlight was no longer on them. The wrestling world lost Pat O'Connor on August 15, 1990 at the age of 66. Buddy Rogers suffered a massive stroke and died on June 26, 1992. He was 71. The men who have wrestled in this program have all, in one way or another, influenced a generation of wrestlers and, of course, wrestling fans. They had an integral part in establishing television. These men changed and shaped the sport during the 1950s, and their influences still apply to this very day. These are the men who will long remain in the memories of classic wrestling fans. For those too young, remember their names. These men were the stars, and now the legends of the golden age of wrestling.
Yes, 2 out of 3 falls.